All right, there we go. Oh, if you wouldn't mind making me the host there, that'd be awesome. I can control, and I'm going to broadcast into Zoom into I'll make you co-host. You can let people in for me if you want, and I'm going to go ahead and get on Facebook. Joe, were you able to, there you go. Yep.
What was that?
Are you good? You got me too. I saw some folks sitting in the waiting. I just wanted to make sure you saw that.
Yeah, just letting in a few people.
Okay. All right. Is my audio okay? I want to make sure audio is good. Decent. Okay. What's up, everybody? We're inside of Facebook, and I also see some folks in the room here with us inside of Zoom. So what's up, Joe? What's up, Ryan? See my dad up top, Mr. Beck, John Beck. If you guys don't know, my dad's got a short-term rental home down in Kissimmee, Florida. You should check out his website. It's DisneyWorldHouseRental.com, DisneyWorldHouseRental.com. You can check out what he's got going on there. He's been a short-term rental owner for the past almost 20 years. So a wealth of knowledge and experience. He's inside the Zoom room with us and our PGC Growth Collective clients. And then we got Alicia's Otter here as well with us. Ron's on, Adriana. What's up, Adriana? Christine. And we got some more folks coming in. So I'm going to go ahead and actually see if I can find a couple of slides here. Today, we're going to be talking about renovations. We're going to be talking about the stuff that is what I believe to be the most complex part of the real estate business, especially if you're doing fix and flips. And so there's a lot of different things we could speak on and a lot of different sort of subtopics, if you would. If I could ask that the folks in the room stay on mute in terms of the Zoom room. And you guys could definitely queue up your questions. If you do have any questions in the chat, I'll come back around to those for sure. Anything with renovations, is up for grabs as far as topics for discussion, scopes of work, budgets, things like that, or just strategies. And then on Facebook, if you guys could do me the favor and use the comments to communicate and initially post where you're at, where you're listening from. And if you want to include anything that is helpful to know what brought you here today to want to talk with us and be here, be present about the conversation about maximizing your renovations with maximizing your profits, minimal renovations. Minimal, I'll put double quotes, air quotes, because it really just depends on the exit. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And anyone who's kind of hearing me for the first time somewhere, appreciate you being here. Douglas J. Beck. We run multiple companies, and JDL Ventures is the company where we started wholesaling real estate deals in multiple markets since 2014, and have since grown other businesses like our renovation company, Douglas J. Development, and we've bought and sold, a number of properties, over 50 at this point, fix and flips. We've done a couple hundred wholesale flips, but about 51 or 52 fix and flips, and actually have a couple of wholesale deals closing today, God willing. So we have a couple of clients stepping in and getting their first deal done. Actually, we have 3 clients in the Growth Collective closing their first deal, God willing, today, signing documents, sending capital from their side to, all different kinds of cool structures that we don't have time to talk about today. But if you're interested in how that all works, feel free to comment or shoot me a DM, and you could put TGC. TGC is the shorthand for the Growth Collective. So if you want to learn more about TGC, just put the comment TGC, and we'll know to reach out to you about that, how that kind of works, how we're helping our clients close their first or their next deal inside of 90 days in many cases. And if we don't, we'll continue to work with you until we do help you get that done. But there's a whole process around that. Today is going to be just value. So get your pen and paper ready, right? And also put your thinking caps on and make sure you ask questions when appropriate and participate and contribute. I want to get to see if we have a couple of slides. Actually, if I could ask Joe, if you wouldn't mind checking in to see if we had a slide set specifically on construction management and renovations that I thought I had handy. If you wouldn't mind putting a note out to the team to see if they could queue that up. If we have it, if we can't find it, I could still, cover most of what's on that slide set, but there's definitely
take a look.
Thanks, man. It's in the Google Drive, I'm pretty sure. So, Cool. So in the meantime, I'm going to kind of look to my left because I'm looking at Facebook and I'm kind of seeing what's kind of comments we got coming in. So I can kind of shout out to our Facebook friends. Let me go ahead and refresh my page. Candace is coming in. I'm not sure who is coming in with the name admin office. Is that on our side or that's somebody else? Anyone know on the Zoom? I see Marlo just joined us as well. What's up, Marlo?
I don't know
And
who that is.
Candace.
That's why I haven't let it in.
Yeah.
I don't
If you're
remember
hearing me,
creating an admin office.
that's fine. So yeah, I'm gonna click on remove and then that individual can, if they're hearing us on Facebook, they could just put their name in if they want to join the Zoom, if they happen to be in our sphere, if you would. All right. I see Alex is out there. I see Jenny, Adriana, Sherry on Facebook. What's up, everybody? Do me a favor on Facebook, if you guys wouldn't mind. Remind us city and state where you're based out of and or where you are doing deals, if they're the same or different. Right. And if you want to include, maybe some, feel free to put like I told you last week, I think we shared about this, like you guys could put a little bit about your background. Feel free to put that as a comment so people know, this is your chance to contribute. We give you the space, we give you the opportunity, even in the Zoom room, you guys are welcome to put in just a reminder of kind of what you're focusing on, participate, right? Like put in your location, put in, what your strategies you're focusing on. If it's fix and flip, buy and hold, all the above, wholesale, whatever. And let's make sure we stay interactive, right? This isn't just a lecture presentation. Although I'm talking and you guys are listening, we could still contribute by just participating actively through comments and chats. And then we could ultimately open up for some questions in a little bit. So let me see if this link might be, yeah, this is probably it. Let me just check something real quick. This is the doc though. There's actually a, I think Nomon might have provided it. Let's see. In the meantime, while I'm doing this, you guys, like I said, let us know where you're based out of and let us know what brought you here. Let us know your questions. We'll definitely come back to that. So, and I do have, this is the one I wanted. Yeah. So thank you, team, for getting that over to me. Let me just check a couple of things here. Right. Yeah. If I could ask the team, just as I'm going through the slides, to just update the links and the phone number on slides 11 through 13 ad hoc, if you wouldn't mind. Just take a look. You'll see what I mean. If the team can work together, that'd be great. It's nothing major, just a couple of tweaks. You guys will see the differences. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen actually, because this is exactly what I want to talk about. So thank you guys again, just kind of following up. Again, slides 11 to 13. Okay. So let's see who we got in the Facebook. We got Antonio. See you next Wednesday. Awesome. Sounds good. Where are we? I'm not sure where I'm going to see you yet, but I apologize. Maybe on the phone, maybe on Zoom. Excellent. If that's the case, or in person somewhere. Linda, appreciate you being transparent. You're not getting any deals yet. We'll talk about that, and stay focused, stay relentless. And we have a lot of folks in the growth collective that I got to give credit to. I'm going to call them out actually right now. I got my buddy Carnvier just closed a deal last week, a wholesale deal, made $5,000. He's been relentless. He's got deals all across the country, this guy. So if you don't know him, you got to get to know Carnvier. We got Liana, got an offer over asking on her property in Colorado. He's also been pretty perseverant, relentless through challenges and trials and tribulations. We got, a couple other folks at the precipice of closing their first deal. I'm not going to say their names yet because I want to celebrate once they close. We got a couple, more than a couple actually. So stay tuned for all that. There's a lot of momentum right now, everybody in this room. And then we got Sherry in Dallas, Fort Worth. Actually, there's a deal I'm looking at in the Fort Worth area. So let's talk about that and see if there's some synergy there. It's actually a subject to deal that I'm considering, getting myself into there. So lots of cool stuff, everybody. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen. All right. Feel free to continue to contribute and participate in the chat, in the comments. And then I'm gonna go ahead and share this. Let's see. Way. Okay. By the way, if you don't know how to properly invite a friend to this group, as in the real estate investing mastermind group, the best way to do that is to send them the link to thereimastermind.com, thereimastermind.com. Somebody could drop that link in the comments. That'd be awesome on Facebook. the reimastermind.com will give them the link that they need to get into the group. They're going to answer a couple of questions and make sure that they are, interested in what we're offering, instead of just giving them another one of those Facebook invites. Like, oh, what's that about? I don't even know this thing. What is this? This guy, Douglas J. Beck. I don't know if he's really something I need to go in, but if they actually go to the page, you'll see it kind of helps, contextualize what's going on. So check it out. This is a presentation of which most of the content is going to be very relevant for today. I might skip through some stuff or make some comments or annotations as we're discussing it. This was a presentation I gave probably about a year ago, maybe a little longer than that, actually, come to think of it, but it's still very relevant, right? And so we'll talk about the specifics as far as the size and the scope of the kind of projects that we've done as a company at Douglas J Development, which is one of the businesses my wife and I own together. As you can kind of see there, in the sort of subtitle, fix and flips, project management, and joint ventures, you can kind of read between the lines that we do a lot of our own projects, but we also collaborate with other investors in multiple markets to help them run their projects successfully, and also look to joint venture on deals when possible in different. So I'm right now actually coordinating a joint venture with an individual to help run construction on a project in New Jersey, another joint venture down here in Florida to also run construction and help with the just the facilitation of the project from a project management perspective. There's not always capital, right? Just in case someone's wondering, it depends on what the deal is. And again, the clients in the Growth Collective know that that's just one way you could joint venture. But today we're going to get into really managing and running your renovation project successfully to, yes, increase the value, but also to maximize profit without spending more or too much time or money. It's really, if you think about it, the way you probably got here, or the marketing you might have seen, was about maximizing your profit while, minimizing the renovations. Basically, try to have that inverse relationship between the money you can make, right? So versus the renovations you have to do. And so I'm going to give you guys some key metrics today. So if I could, maybe if I could have someone in the room in the Zoom, just put in these following metrics in the chat, just as a note for us to come back in the Q&A part. We're going to put in the metrics called percent of net profit to renovation budget, right? Percent of net profit to renovation budget. So, and then we're going to put in percent of net profit on total cost of project, right? Percent of net profit to total cost of project. We're going to talk about a minimum, as part of this discussion, a minimum net profit target that you all should be thinking about when you think about fix and flips, right? Minimum net profit target, minimum dollar amount. That's our third metric. So far we got net profit on budget, net profit compared to budget of renovation. We have the second one, which is net profit to total cost of project, our second metric. And the third metric is going to be the net profit in general dollar amount. That's a minimum. And then we want to think about, really, what about the cash I need compared to the net profit? How do I compare those things? So maybe like a cash on cash, right, return metric, and saying like, here's the net profit I can create on this money that I have to put towards this project. And if I use leverage, right, keyword leverage, the right way, and at the right price, then I can maximize my cash on cash return. So cash on cash is not just a metric that we should be thinking about when we think about buy and hold, right? We got to think about any dollar I invest into a project, how do I get that to return back more dollars than what I put in? And so that's a measurement we want to think about. So we're going to cover a lot of stuff today. Like I said, it's going to be a jam-packed value session. It's going to be no, sugarcoating, just direct to the point, talking from real experience, literally managing tens of millions of dollars in renovations across my own projects, and really just seeing a lot of people do the same thing and helping them through their projects through coaching and mentorship. So let's jump into it. So stick with us until the end if you really want to know the truth about renovations, right? How this really works. This is not like a fluffy stuff. Like I said, it's not like a motivational thing. We're just like, hey, you go out there, find a property, renovate it really good, and sell it for a huge profit, go do it again. It's not a TV show. This is like real life stuff. If you want to increase the value of the purchase property, obviously that's value add, right? So how do we add value to the property? Well, typically adding value is through actual physical renovations, right? But there's other things you can consider as well. The way you stage a property can also increase perception of value, for example. If you want to buy more properties confidently, knowing that you have a system to fix them up effectively. So like if you're saying, I get all these deals sent to me, if this is your challenge, right? It might be somebody in the room, this is your challenge. You're getting these opportunities sent to you, you're like, if I only knew how to manage construction or run renovations properly for this size of a renovation, then, if only then, I would be able to have a successful project. And maybe that's an indicator that you need to think about joint ventures. Maybe that's an indicator you kind of tap us on the shoulder and say, hey, listen, could you guys help me with this project? Could you coach me through this project? Because that's another thing that we do with our clients. We help either manage or coach through renovations, right? That's something we can offer as a service to you all. Or maybe you just want to save time and money because you don't want to waste, you don't want to be wasteful. You want to just like do it the right way the first time, right? Get it done the right way and do it the right way every time. And that comes from a process of having not done it the right way all the time, right? To be totally transparent, I'm not going to share every story of all the challenges, but this is not a, hey guys, I've done it perfectly right every single time without a shadow of a doubt, like a bat in the thousand. No, like percentages, we're not going to get into measuring that percentage, but the fact is it's majority of our deals have been very successful. We've had some deals that have been more challenging and other ones that have not been successful. It's just the fact of how the business works. And when you do that many projects, imagine you're going to see in a second running 18 projects simultaneously with a staff of about 5 people, and then all general contractors and vendors otherwise. That's what we did back in 2018, 2019. We had 18 projects running simultaneously. Like literally, as in right now, you're managing $3 to $4 million of renovations across 18 different properties in 18 different places. What would that feel like for you? Do you think that might have shaped some of the understanding of how to do this the right way and also what to watch out for? I believe it has. That's why I'm here, and I'm confident in helping you know what to avoid and helping you maximize your profit through minimizing your renovations by not just saying, let me just spend all this money because someone said I should do that. It's like really being diligent and sourcing the right way, as in scoping it out. We're going to talk about scope. We're going to talk about budget. We're going to talk about time. We're going to talk about construction management, contractor management. So that being said, I'm going to keep rolling. If I could have my team just kind of support the comments on Facebook and support on the chat when possible, that'd be awesome. So why should you listen to us? So this number is a little bit low. It's probably more like 15 to 20 million in that range of construction managed over the past almost decade, bought and sold. That's just properties over 20 million, probably closer to 25 at this point. And if you look at the total scale of actual deals that we've done, it's north of $50 million. And I'm only telling you that so you know the experience level, not that it's just like right out the gate. Like I just decided to start helping people and I did my first project for $200,000 last week. So I think I say that respectfully, okay? Because there are people that do that and they do a good job, but I believe that we have one of the best options to get information and learn this stuff because we actually have done so much of it. And we've done it in ways that have taught us what's right and what's not so good. All right. Hundreds of transactions across multiple markets, primarily New Jersey and Florida, right? That's pretty self-explanatory. Fix and flip, nearly it's over 50 at this point with as many as 18, I told you that a second ago. And we've helped hundreds of clients, some of which are sitting in a Zoom room right now with us. And those of you that are sitting, listening on the outside in Facebook are not clients, but you're definitely part of our community. We appreciate your focus and your time and your effort to listen and learn. We invite you to come check out one of our next sessions, right? You could talk to someone from our team about getting into the next session, about getting into how it works with us, right? Send us a DM, send me a DM, and I'll get you connected to somebody on my team. We'll get you a link to go check out and learn more about how that all works. It kind of is in the chat or in the comment, I think they're about typing ready, but you could just send me a DM. Okay. I've had the opportunity to speak as a guest at over 100, I should know the exact, probably like 130, 150 in that range of events over the years and podcasts. And so one of my biggest challenges on that is like trying to figure out how to organize all that so I can just pour to value. But if you figure like just in the past, probably 2 or 3 months, we've done at least, I don't know, 10 or 15 of these sessions, right? For an hour a piece, not to mention we do 3 or 4 meetings where I'm presenting each week to my clients. So there's a massive amount of content and information that's available to you, which is a great thing if you're looking to learn, right? If you're looking to fill the gaps, like you got to consider, where do I go to get my information? Do I go to somebody who's actually done it, is doing it, and willing to share about it? That's probably a good idea. Whether it's me or somebody else, you should consider that, right? And we've grown our network to over 12,000 real estate investors. It's actually like north of 15,000 at this point, but that's continuing to grow. And that's not including Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. That's even more, but this is direct, opted in people in our list and stuff like that. So that's good, especially if you're looking to know how can we help you, let's say, connect the dots, right? Bring an investor to a deal that you have, you're trying to wholesale. If we go into a joint venture, or if you have a property that needs to be renovated and you're not comfortable with the size of the renovation, maybe we have a connection that can help make that feel a little more comfortable for you. Currently looking at acquiring over 100 rental units. That's accurate. It's not accurate in terms of New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Sorry, guys, those of you up in New Jersey, PA, it's pretty much Florida and maybe Texas right now. We're actively sourcing stuff. Like we have multiple properties in the process of buying a handful of rentals right now. looking to buy a bunch more. So if you have rental property deals, definitely looking at that. I'm open to like regular cash, private money type structures, or subject to or seller finance, all that kind of thing. So if you have any deals, we're actually buying stuff as well. So let's jump into some of the costly mistakes that you got to avoid. Okay. And this is just like one total, slide here. So just forgive me for that. I like to usually do it where we have like one at a time so you can kind of focus on the individual items. So I'm going to kind of use annotations to make that a little bit easier to follow. Okay. So I'm going to kind of click. So that's not the right one I want. Don't laugh at me, everybody. Come on now. Let's see. Amp. There we go. So we're right here on this line. Okay. So lack of focus on project management methodologies. Well, check this out. What does project management have to do with renovating properties? Everything. Everything. Okay. In my opinion, it's everything. Planning, but then ultimately kicking off and running a project that has to do with scope and time and budget. What I've been taught and learned and doing is the triple constraint of project management: scope, time, and budget. Again, today we might touch upon that some more, but I want to be mindful of the stuff that we had to talk about specifically. So I'm not going to spend too much time on each bullet, but just we'll come back to it as needed. The next thing is poor sourcing. Why people fail, right? Why projects fail. Poor sourcing and management of contractors. Quality of work is not ideal. Reliability is not ideal. Speed, they go too slow. They don't show up, right? These are the two things here, big issues. Okay. So what about not defining your scope of work enough detail? So maybe that's a good idea to sit down. If you have a project right now that you're about to buy, if you're looking at buying a property that needs renovations done, you must understand before you purchase the property, the scope of the work that you're going to hire someone to do for you. And I said that very specifically. You must understand the scope of the work that you're going to hire someone to do for you. Now, if you're listening to me as a contractor, you might say, I don't need to do that. I can just do it myself. You know, God bless you. I hope you do a great job at it, but how many deals can you handle at one time? Maybe it's a handful, maybe you have other clients. Are you willing to risk cannibalizing, as in taking yourself away from other business to run your renovation project and now has your financial ability, your own money, other people's money into that project? Maybe you are, but if you ask me, I'd rather be the one managing and leading a team of other contractors if I was that contractor versus having to get my hands dirty and go in there and do it myself. If it's an investment, now I got to be careful that I don't hire the wrong people, but isn't that what you do if you're a general contractor listening to me right now? If you're someone that's got rental properties, I'm sure you've probably had some case, a handyman, a handy person come to your property to fix something. So that's a type of contractor. But what we're talking about, generally speaking, is not just like maintenance, right? Like that's not the kind of stuff that we're talking about with renovations. Generally speaking, we're talking about doing value add to kitchens and bathrooms and floors and siding and windows and roofs and HVAC and plumbing and electrical and painting, right? And flooring, I think you said. Those are the kind of cosmetics. So if you think of it like this is on one of these slides somewhere, every surface that's seen or touched has to smell and look fresh. Like if you want to get the max value, that's a must. Like to me, it's just simply that. It's like if I look at a wall and it has debris or something messed up with it, it's not painted properly, it's blemished. That's going to reduce the perception of value. Simply, it's really easy to say like it's not been renovated. If I look at a floor and there's cracked tiles or there's just ugly stuff like flooring that just peeling because it got wet and it's laminate or pergo flooring or something like that, right? It's not going to be appealing. If it's carpet that looks beat up, these are simple things, but we're going to get to some of that. I'm just giving you guys a lens, defining your scope of work in enough detail. You got to think about the musts. And then you get to the maybe I'll do that if I got some money and time and it's going to add value. Okay. Not being realistic on the time it will take to complete the project. Okay. So this is tricky because many of you listening to me right now, unless you have a lot of experience in construction or renovating properties, you don't have a good perception of how long things take. And you're at the mercy of contractors or other individuals that are going to tell you what that looks like. And you're trusting that their judgment's accurate. When you don't know something, here's a very simple tool. You should write this one down. Don't just ask one person, ask at least 3 or 4 or 5 people that have qualifications to do that thing. Again, don't ask just one person, ask 3, 4, or 5 people that have qualifications to do that one thing. whether that be a contractor, right? A realtor, an investor that you want to do business with. Maybe you got to find out what are the problems with this potential deal. Let me get opinions. Let me get perspectives. Again, we create that community in our private coaching and mastermind group called the Growth Collective because we have literally conversations about deals and people poke holes and show interest and ask questions all the time, every day, practically. That's another benefit of being part of our community there. And even in this community, to some extent, you see that. All right. Next thing, underestimating the cost to complete the renovations. Well, that's pretty obvious. Underestimating the cost to complete. So again, I just gave you the answer to how to do this. It's going to be on the next slide, probably. How can we not have that happen? Don't underestimate, don't overestimate, but be realistic. And the realistic part of it comes from proper due diligence of evaluating the scope of work and the budget by having conversations with people that do what? People that renovate properties. And who are those people? Construction professionals. So check it out. If you're in the room right now and you're listening to this message, whenever you hear this and you're in the construction business, I'm giving you full right and authority to post your website anywhere you see this video. But I'll say this though, that if you're going to not do the right thing for anybody that watches this video, you will quickly be eliminated from my network and be asked to be excused out of the room in whatever capacity, wherever the social whatever goes. Because we're not going to tolerate contractors that take money and don't do work, that take money and don't show up to the job, that charge us way more than they should be charging, almost unethically. I had a contractor for one particular project. One guy quoted me $20,000 or something that was a specialty. Same exact thing. Someone quoted me $3,000 for the same thing. And it's not something that has any qualified aspect to it. It's pretty much binary. Do you think I'm ever going to call the guy to do the $20,000 job in my life or recommend him to anybody? No. There's no benefit. And it's actually that individual, in my mind, has a sense of greed, which I don't tolerate. You know, and again, respectfully, some of you might not like my style, and that's okay. I'm not for everybody, nor should you be for everybody. That's a diluted world. We all have our own unique things that make us special, make us people individually. One of my things is I'm not going to sugarcoat the issue. If there's a problem that has to be discussed, or if there's a problem that I have with something, or somebody else has a problem with me, we're going to talk about it and figure out what the issue is and sort out the solution. And you need to be comfortable doing that, right? As an owner of a property, soon to be owner or actual owner of a property that's doing renovations, contractors got to know what you're going to tolerate and what you're not going to tolerate. Because if you don't have parameters, right? And it's probably in here as well. If you don't have those parameters, those expectations, they will generally, I hate to say it, not saying everybody, but a lot of contractors just take that for granted and don't do the right thing. It's too easy for them not to do the right thing, like to do the wrong thing. Basically, it's easy for them to do the wrong thing because they know that generally they're in short supply. The great contractors are in short supply. So that's another challenge, which may not be on this list, but let's keep going. This is pretty much our conversation today. Over or under renovating the property. Too much or too little scope or quality. Okay. Let me know a little bit more about that, Doug. What do you mean? Well, what I mean is if your ARV says that properties like this one that you're looking to sell have fully renovated kitchens and bathrooms with all new flooring, painting, and all new lighting fixtures and switches and outlets and all the things that you normally would do with a renovation, you can't compare that ARV for the properties that sold with all those new things to a property that's just been cleaned up, quote unquote. Cleaned up in most people's minds means removing all the garbage and debris and maybe painting, and then you're done. And the same cabinets, the same countertops, the same appliances, the same bathrooms, the same ugly towels, the same dirty grout, same switches, outlets, plate covers, fans that are still dirty, that are white with dust on them, for example, I've seen. That's not going to sell your property at the ARV. So you're not going to be able to get that ARV unless you renovate it to the right amount of the renovation needed. So let's be realistic. Realistic, I think you heard that before, with our scope of work and the quality of the work that must get done to hit that after repaired value. I hope you guys are with me. If you're with me, do me a favor on Facebook and just put the number 1 to let me know that you hear me okay. If you're in the Zoom meeting, you do the same thing. Press the number 1, just hit enter. It shows me that you're here. Don't have to type anything, just put 1. Okay, I see Adriana's here. Because now we're getting into some of the exciting stuff as far as the presentation and what's going to be, how to make this real. I don't see a lot of interaction, everybody, so I'm getting concerned. All right. We Got Zoom. Got some ones. Excellent. Appreciate you guys. All right. If you don't know by now, I do these meetings for you. I don't do this for us. Like somebody might say, oh, well, come on, Doug. Don't you have like a coaching program? Don't you like sell stuff? Don't you try to like have people pay you money to get real estate deals done and stuff? Not exactly. I mean, if you ask any of my clients, I'm pretty confident like 99% of my clients, with the exception of a couple folks that might have had some kind of issue over the years, will tell you that the amount of value that they get from what they participate in with us is far significant than their perception of what they thought they would get in most cases. And I'm not saying that to sound like we do it all the time perfectly, because we've had our mistakes with coaching, right? We've had things we've done wrong. We've had scenarios that haven't gone perfectly. But when you see people getting results and there's people pouring out testimonials and this excitement, which is such a blessing, that's a reminder that we're on the right track, right? And that's really cool. So I just want to say thank you to our clients that are willing to share their testimony. They're willing to let us share their testimony. Thank you guys. Seriously, you know who you are. And those of you that are not there yet, you're coming really soon. Just trust us. Like if the process works, just stick with it. Okay. All right. So I'm looking to see if I can find the feed, and I apologize. I'm trying to see. Do we have any more ones? Somebody who sees the feed on Facebook, who said one? Just tell me, shout it out. Who else do we have? I can't figure out why it's not loading right. Who else is here with us on Facebook? Adriana.
Coño.
Go.
Gladys, Chris, Ilya. Those are the Facebook comments.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys being here. Excellent. All right. Let's check it out. We're going to keep it going. Missing the wow factor. Okay. Make your property stand out. Well, here's a really easy one. Okay. If you're going to invest money, and another very important word, I want you all to write this one down: invest, and then put a space, and then put VS as in versus. Okay. Invest, space, VS, and then put another space or a dot and then a space, versus. Spend. Invest versus spend. Say one more time. Invest versus spend. Okay. Time is the next word you're going to write down somewhere on your piece of paper. Are you investing your time? Which investments do what? Investments produce a return. That's the goal, at least. Expenses don't necessarily produce a return. They are just expenses. They're things that you pay money for. Now, they might have some utility benefit, but are they going to get a return greater than what they are that they are costing you? Not always. They're just like a must. Like you have to pay for things. You have to pay for food. You have to pay for shelter. You have to pay for stuff. That's just utility, not really investing per se. They're not producing a return on top of what you expect them to be in the first place necessarily. So, but how about the time that you invest in a project, like a renovation project? Man, I can tell you that over the course of the years, like I've had a lot of projects feel like a lot of spent time in the moment, especially spending time. Man, this is taking so much time, spending so much time on this. This is nuts. Like, but the onset of the project was always an investment. Okay. So now what's that sound like? Well, when you have challenges, when you all have challenges, which are inevitable to happen in projects, I'm telling you right now, somebody listening to me is like, man, I'll never have a challenge. Come on, Doug. I'm able to do this without any challenges. You're just not being realistic. Anybody who's got any kind of success in the business of real estate investing will tell you, and be okay telling you because of who they are willing to admit this. And if they don't tell you, they're just not telling you. In other words, if they don't tell you that they have had challenges, it's because they're embarrassed to tell you that, which makes them, in my opinion, a little bit weak. And with all due respect, they don't have to be feeling weak, because other people are going to face the same kind of challenges. And it's actually my duty, I believe, my calling is to share not just my successes, but also my challenges. And sometimes, like today, I'm sharing challenges in a somewhat generalized sense, but we also have specific things we can talk in our coaching group, in our private discussions, right? That I'm happy to share examples. And sometimes we do that as well. But the fact is, this is one here. When you spend or invest, let's say invest, really, because I slipped there a little bit. It's not really a spending. When I'm investing money, but you guys think of it probably as spending. Most people do. On, let's say, a renovation project, money to invest the money to do the kitchen, the bathrooms, the floor, all that stuff. And then at the end of all that, you just say, okay, we're going to put this on the MLS and hope that someone buys it, for example, which a lot of people don't even put on the MLS. They just tell a friend or say, share a story, put on Facebook, put on Marketplace, which it's not the right model, by the way. You gotta get marketing out. You gotta get the world to know that this thing is ready to go. You've invested all the time and money, but check it out. There's actual metrics that show when you properly stage a property. What's staging? Staging is putting furniture either physically in the property or virtually on pictures. When you stage properties, that there's a known benefit of like tens of thousands of dollars percentage wise. I think in New Jersey it was probably like 7 to 10% in that range of a higher offer price that you're bound to get based on averages of people analyzing the data. Staging companies have analyzed the data. Properties that are not staged that are renovated versus properties that are staged that are renovated produce real tangible value. So if you quote unquote spend, right, like in that example, let's say $3,000, $4,000, $5, $5,000 on staging, if you're going to get a 3 to 4 times benefit, is that an expenditure or is that an investment? What do you guys think? Is that spending or investing? Can you guys just comment for me? And if you could put in the chat, that'd be awesome. Is it, if you're putting out 3, 4, $5,000 a stage, are you spending money or investing money? Really simple one. Adriana says investing. What's up, Joe? I see you there too. Both Joes, Joe Rosario, Joe Dietre. Sorry if I said your name incorrect. I haven't actually said your last name too often. I have to ask you how you say it the right way. Joe and Violet are awesome as well. So it's kind of quiet on Facebook. So again, I'm just going to keep going, but you guys got to make sure that everything's working right. I think it is. I'm kind of surprised. You guys are just kind of listening. You know, I always kind of joke around and say, we got some people stalking. So that's cool. Like, you know, hey, what's going on? You want to kind of like hide behind the trees in Facebook world. It's all good. Like, hope it's adding value to what you got going on. You know, feel free to hang around. Just let us know when you're ready to talk about things. Donna is investing. Excellent. Go investing. Yeah. So when you're putting out, I say this very deliberately, putting out money to showcase. I want you guys to write down the word showcase. 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 You must showcase your property. You just invested all this money and time to make this thing look beautiful, and you're not going to put it in the best light. Like, how could we ever do that? So when you develop your scope of work, when you develop your budget, if you're going to be renovating the property and selling it full retail, that's a if, because it's not always the case. You may just be cleaning it out and putting it back on the market, wholesaling it. That's a different story. That's not really today's conversation. If you're looking to get full retail, you need to think about showcasing your property in the best possible light as there is. And you need to get it to as many eyes and ears and things that can be done to it to get the most exposure. Exposure is another word. Showcase and get exposure. Like, this isn't a secret anymore. Now we have this property. It's been done. We have to show it. So the wow factor, it won't be a wow unless you do it deliberately to make sure it's a wow. So you got to think about lighting. You got to think about like recessed lighting, for example. You got to think about the types of design and the color schemes, right? Talk to contractors. We're happy to talk to you about this in private as well, but you're not going to make everything all white, for example, white walls, white, baseboard molding, white ceilings and white counters and white cabinets, unless you just want to like super, super modern or look like a doctor's office with like bright white lights or something like that. That's just not a good idea. There's no contrast. So that's just a design, very basic design principle. So like, there's usually a color scheme, right? There's usually a semantic, a system, if you would, of how I'm going to design this thing to look the best. And that changes. So you know who you talk to? I'm going to shout out Candence, for example. Candence is here. Candence is a real estate agent in Florida. So talk to somebody like Candence that actually sells, retail properties, luxury properties, and other kinds of properties, but she understands from what's selling. What are the design concepts that are getting people to say, I'm interested in buying that? That's really beautiful. I love that. Talk to my friend up in New Jersey, Diana. She's also another agent we've spent and done a lot of business with. She's basically an expert when it comes to Northern New Jersey design concepts, what people want. So like that's just 2 examples of people that I've done business with, but you got to think, who are the real estate agents? Because check it out. It's not what, it's fill in the blank. It's who. So if I don't know, it's not about me going to say, what don't I know? Let me go do what it needs to be done. No, it's saying who can do this with me or for me, because that's much faster, way more simplistic, and just better. Okay. So if you don't know how to get the wow, talk to someone who knows, which is a real estate agent that's going to help you sell the property. Right. Not renovating according to the taste and purpose. I kind of talked about that, but check it out. You're not going to go renovate a luxury property in a market that is average. You're just not. You don't need to. Like, that's over renovating. So I'm not going to call out specific neighborhoods, but there's certain parts of northern New Jersey, and they're generally urban markets, that I don't need to renovate like suburban markets, because suburban markets that have really high taxes, really expensive everything. Those are expensive things, like, people that drive expensive cars, for example, people that have expensive watches, like that. That's not, to me at least, an investment. Those are just expenses. Um, sorry guys, give me 1 second. You guys get to meet Lexi. She's here. She's making a little bit of noise on the floor, so I'm going to hold her for a second. She's our Shih Tzu. She's the smaller version of not the version. She's the smallest one, and then we have a double doodle named Benji. So this is Lexi. She's about 9 pounds. So she's going to sit in my lap because she's been scratching her back a little bit too much. So I'm going to let her sit here and just kind of be comfortable. All right. So when you're looking at renovating, you're not going to go and renovate a property necessarily in an urban market that doesn't call for the necessity of renovating with high-end everything. It's just kind of obvious, but some people go above and beyond. And I've heard people qualify that. Well, if I do it that way, I'm going to guarantee that I'm going to sell it for the highest price. Well, yeah, but that's also being kind of silly. If you're going to spend 50% more, or you're going to take more time, or both, just to get the same price, like, let's do it a different way. So anyway, just got to know what that looks like, and make sure you're focusing on who's my buyer persona. And that's, again, going back to the who. And tell me that. Well, an agent, a real estate agent that sells properties at the highest price possible, that's motivated. Agents are motivated because they get paid a commission when the property sells. The more the property sells for, everybody, the more money the agent makes. Your interests are aligned. As far as I know, in every market in the United States of America, you don't pay money for an agent until the property sells. And if you don't like the offer, the agent doesn't get paid for the offer that they're going to get you. So why wouldn't we leverage agents' help to get these things sold? Like, shout out to all my agents in the room. If you're an agent, put the word agent somewhere, wherever you're looking at this. Okay. Put the word agent, that we know you're a real estate agent. You guys can connect in different markets, maybe with different people that are agents. Okay. Poor communication and management throughout the project. So poor communication and management, a lot of times this is from the contractors. I have to be real. Like, they don't give you updates fast enough. They don't tell you what's going on. They don't communicate even with the township, or the township doesn't communicate with them, or whatever. But you have to think about increasing the frequency and the velocity of communication, especially on a renovation project, whenever possible, because the fact is that as time is passing, you have costs. You also have opportunity costs. There's cost as in, like, you're not, you're spending money. You are spending money to hold the property, taxes, insurance, utility bills, and financing costs if you're leveraging. And if you're not selling the property, you also have the opportunity cost of not realizing your profit yet. Okay. So check that out. If you don't, I'm telling you right now, if you own a property that is being renovated, it is not an asset until it's sold. In my book, it may be an asset on a balance sheet, but it's not really an asset as in an income generating asset until you sell the property. Because check it out. What's the top line on a renovation project? What's the top line on a profit and loss statement? I don't know if you guys are following this. If you don't know business terms, that's okay. We're going to help you with that too. But profit and loss says, here's my income, and then beneath that's all my expenses. But remember, I kind of reframe that, say they're investments, but a lot of times some of them are expenses, right? Like, utilities are just kind of utility. That's what they are. You have to make those investments though to get to the end, but to get to the top line, as in revenue, it's on the sale, not on the buy. You could buy right, but you still have to sell to realize the fact that you bought it right and you renovated it correctly. Right. So anyways, communication, there's different tools and processes that we could recommend about that. But that's something we could talk in private. And then many, many more that are just there that we just don't have the time. But like, these are some of the heavy hitting items. Okay. I'm gonna put her down here. She's a little bit older. She's about like 14 or 15 years old. So she's at the end of her life. but still moving along. All right. Let's see here. Annotations are still on. So let me go to the next. Clear it is. All right. Are you guys, I just wanted to kind of check in. I know we're coming upon like 150. We have technically till 2 p.m., but I think you guys probably know how I roll. I usually go a little bit over. So if you have to go, we understand. But if not, you can hang out for a little bit. So we got, Joe says we got some folks on Facebook. We got Jabbar. What's up, Jabbar? We got Susan. How you doing, Susan? Joe, Stana, Ilya, Nydia, Wendy, Esther. What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you being here. So now the important part is how do we avoid these mistakes? All right. Again, this is like all at once. So prepare to take notes, but try to listen in too, if you can do both. Okay. 10 tips on how to effectively manage your renovation projects. By the way, this is just in case, because some people nowadays, this looks like it's like an alcoholic beverage or something like that. This is a Celsius Arctic Vibe, sparkling frozen berry edition. So I don't work for Celsius, but this is what I believe to be pretty healthy. Although some people online are talking about, oh, Celsius this and Celsius that. No high fructose corn syrup, no aspartame, no preservatives. Pick it out. It's better than a coffee for me, and it tastes okay, but it's healthier than other alternatives, right? So plan the project out. I talked about that before. Plan out the project. Let's get our stamp here so we can, ideally before you buy the property, right? Pretty much covered that one already. Create a clear scope of work. Otherwise, the details about the work that the contractor is going to be doing, right? Now, when you're designing that scope of work, this is where like some of the nuance type stuff comes into play. If you have like something that is in really good shape that you can salvage and you're trying to stay on a budget, if it's not a system and it's not a structural thing and it's just a cosmetic thing, if you could salvage it somehow, by all means, find a way to salvage it. If you could resurface cabinets on a moderately, ARV property, you can, save a couple $1,000 and you need to save a couple $1,000 to stay on budget, then resurface them versus buying all new. Because now when you rip the cabinets off the wall, not only do you have to get new cabinets, you definitely got to look at getting new counters. You definitely got to consider the wall is going to be messed up. You have to put sheetrock and spackle and stuff like that. You might have to relay things out, and you have to wait for cabinets to come, which a lot of times these days, cabinets that are decent cabinets are on back order and stuff. And so we happen to have a client though, quick shout out to Adam. If you guys need help with this, he actually is a cabinet supplier. He distributes all across the country. So if you need a great cabinet guy, I have a guy. But that being said, he just told me the other day that custom cabinets are on like a 20-week lead time. Like that's a lot. That means that if you have a project that can take you 3 months to complete renovation wise, you're actually going to wait until the cabinets arrive to finish the project. Like you can't even do it in 3 months. You have to wait 5 months or 6 months, whatever it is. That's not good. So if you have that issue, you got to be creative. How can I optimize this? Maybe, for a particular buyer, I might consider a credit, or I might say, look, I'll even replace the cabinets, but I'll have to order them for you and put them in. I almost act like a builder in that sense. Hey, I'll put those ones in for you if you give me this price. If you give me full ask, I'll renovate that for you. That depends on your market, depends on the price point. I'm just giving you an idea how to be creative. All right. Communicate your expectations on scope, quality, and timing when obtaining bids. What are bids? Well, bids are basically contractors and responding effectively to your scope of work. So quick story, if you don't know, I invested, and I told the story before, kind of spent time, but also invested a lot of times. I got a good return on this, I would say. And it's not nothing against the company, but I worked in corporate America. I worked at Johnson & Johnson for almost a decade. And a little more than half of my career there was focused on strategic sourcing. What is that? Well, strategic sourcing is helping develop scopes of work, helping obtain bids through what's called a request for proposal, RFP, request for proposal process. Basically putting out to bid scopes of work for the company to get suppliers and vendors to respond to that and give us pricing and give us terms and give us milestones that we can get to as far as the time to get something done. So I have a little bit of experience, to say the least, in big companies, now my own businesses as well, when it comes to scoping out a project and getting bids and kind of negotiating things. It's a big part of negotiation as well. So if you need help there, hey, we're here to help. Let us know. We're happy to jump into a phone call or have a conversation wherever you're listening to this. Don't disclose your budget though. This is a really big one and something that, people easily make a mistake about. I do not recommend you disclosing your budget to a potential contractor until they provide a bid. You might say, well, how is that possible? That's possible because you're going to give them the what, not the how much. You're going to give them the how long it has to take, not the how much you have available to spend or invest. Because see, their responsibility is to get you the best deal. That's the kind of contractors that I want to work with. I want the ones that are going to optimize my construction project. And it's because I'm looking to build a relationship with those contractors. I'm not looking to do just one project, one transaction, one deal, one renovation. No, I want you all to think, even if you're just doing one right now, will you only do one ever? Are you in this business? I'm curious. Just tell me if you think, I'm going to ask you guys to put in not a yes or no. I want you to put in the chat, put in the comments. And if you're willing to, I hope you are. It's either you put the number one if you're looking to do one project forever, or just the word many if you want to do many. Okay, it's pretty simple. One, just one, or many. I hope I see some manys. Hopefully I see all manys, but hey, no, you guys, I won't be mad if you say one. It's okay. One or many? Many. Okay. Many. I see lots of manys. Cool. My clients are saying many. Hopefully the folks in the room on the mastermind group community are saying many. I see Adriana's there. She's also a client though. So Adriana leading by example in the group there. I appreciate that. Donna says many. Right. More than many. Oh yeah. There you go. Love it. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious. I think you guys get it. Like, we're not going to sit here and just get one project. Like, come on now. We got to be excited about this and say, look, Mr. and Mrs. Contractor person, I'm looking to do many projects. I'm not looking for just the pricing for just one individual project. I want to build a relationship with you and do as many projects as we possibly can do together. So when you think about bidding on this project, consider the fact that I'm not a homeowner that's just got one house to work on. Guys, I'm giving you the words. Like, this is powerful stuff. I hope you're getting this. I am not going to just tell the contractor, oh, just give me a price. Give me no, I'm pitching the project and the relationship. Hey, consider the fact that I'm a real estate investor and I do a lot of I'm working on, if you're working on, I personally do a lot of projects all across this area. And I'm looking for a contractor that understands and can handle multiple projects at a time. Because in your mind, you're saying, I'm either doing that now or I'm expecting to do that relatively soon. If you guys are with me, say I'm with you. Okay. If you get what I'm saying, just put somewhere, I'm with you, and that'll be cool. And then we'll move on. I'll kind of monitor. If anybody says I'm with you, we'll just keep going. Are you with me? I hope you're with me. All right. Gotta make this fun because it's kind of a little delayed on Facebook. So with you. Excellent. Love it. Thank you, Mikkel. All right. Joe's with me. Cool. Put the project out to bid before you buy it. Wait a second. Why wouldn't you do that? You're supposed to say, why would I do that? Why wouldn't you do that? Like, you're saying you want to wait till after you close on a property to figure out who could do the work and how much it's going to cost. That's pretty obvious, I think, to not do that, right? If you think that's not, then hey, check it out. It's all good. It just changed up that thinking a little bit. You got to consider getting it out to bid before you buy so that you're ready on day one, really day zero. Like, I'm waiting to start the project. Like, I need to close so I can get my contractor scheduled to go do demo or to go get the permits. I've even had scenarios where we started to get the permits process started. The application was filled out before we closed so that they can submit it and get it process going so that very soon after we close, we get permits in our hands. We can go actually do the stuff that needs permits. Right? The demo permit, for example, a lot of times you need a demo permit. You can't demo certain things without that. You can't demo anything sometimes, but learn how to properly vet contractors and read between the lines. So this is tricky. This is a little bit of experiential knowledge type stuff where I can't really tell you every single thing there is to know because just from doing it so many times. But like, when I hear certain things, for example, again, respectfully, it's nothing against my contractor friends in the room, but if you're doing this and you're doing it the wrong way, again, I just ask that you please excuse yourself from the room because we're not looking to do business like this. If you tell me or someone that's in my network that you could do everything anywhere for anybody, we're not going to do business together. If you think you could do everything for everyone, every way, it's not realistic. It's not likely. It's a lie. That's what I was. You need to think about, what are you a specialist at as a contractor? And if you're buying construction, who are the specialists? Who are the carpenters? Who are the painters? Who are the HVAC people? Who are the plumbers, the electrical? Like you might say, well, Doug, I thought I was going to get a GC. Yeah, you could get a GC, but you need to think, who is that GC going to use? Is he going to use a specialist, or is he going to use some guy or gal that he's just pulling together from random places that he says, oh yeah, they got that. Don't worry about it. Well, I'm telling you right now, look at their portfolio and you'll be able to tell quality of work, who they're using, and if those people are professionals or not. And I'm telling you, 99 times out of 100, you want to have the right quality in the project to be able to get the right price. You're not going to have the wrong quality to get the right price. It's going to be mismatched. So you need to think, if it's not the right quality, it's because it's not the right person, the right individual, the right professional. So specialists over generalists. Okay. Specialists over generalists. And then finalize your plan for construction before the project starts and stick to the plan. Okay? I can't emphasize this enough. Like you don't want to have change orders, scopes of work changing, scope creep, as we call it. Oh, well, I didn't really think about that. Contractors, you know what? I actually thought, I thought about this some more. We should probably take this wall out over here and move this thing over there and then reconfigure the kitchen, which means I got to go get a plumbing thing done, get the electrical moved over here. Like, whoa, wait a second. What are you talking about? We just started the project and you're changing up the whole plan. We're not going to do that. Hey, listen, I'm saying in my head, if you keep up like that, we're not going to be able to use you on this project. You're going to get fired off the job. Because now that tells me that that individual stepped into this project with a bid that was probably never realistic, just to get the opportunity to change order me on all these different things that really don't have anything to do with my goals and my objectives of getting a certain price. They're what the contractor wants to do to get the job done for the highest price, basically. In most cases, I hate to be real, but I'm being real with you. I have to be real. I hate to be real. I hate to be saying this, I guess, for the contractors out there, but I'm spilling the beans, everybody. So contractors are manipulating people, unfortunately, in a way that's ruining their reputation in the long term of saying, hey, listen, I'll do it for this much. Sure. Yeah, I'll get it done for $40,000. Next thing you know, you're spending 70,000, 80,000, 90,000. Oh yeah, we'll do it for, I had to say, I'm not going to say which project. I'm just going to say it this way because it's really kind of, I can get really amped up about this in a bad way. Yeah, we'll do it for $300,000, 300 grand on one project. And a few months later, tell me that, you know what, it's actually be more like closer to 600,000, actually, the more we think about that. Are you kidding me? Are you nuts? Sorry, not you guys. Like, is that real? Like, are you what? Get out of here. Are you not? And now that individual, which will remain nameless, has got multiple things going on with multiple people in a nasty way, negative way, because that is not right. That's not good business. So don't be that guy, right? I'm going to call people out in a general sense because I have to, because it's my responsibility. I'm here to help serve. I'm not here to just tell you stuff that everyone tells you and say, go out there, find contractors and just go do projects and make a bunch of money. Put it on TV when you get it done right. And you have a bunch of failure. And then you're like, man, that didn't work. I'm telling you, there's more people, unfortunately. I'll be the bearer of bad news. And I hope I don't get knocked off of Facebook for saying this. There's more people that want you to fail than that want you to win. Man, there's more people that want you to fail than want you to win. And I want you to win. I swear I want you to win. I want to win with you. I want to help you win because I feel like it's my calling as a man in this world that's a faith-driven purpose. You can see all around me, all behind me. If you know me, I am here for a purpose to help others win so I can win alongside you in some capacity. So if you don't see that, man, I'm not doing a good enough job explaining and showing you that. There are people that want you to lose, and I am not one of them. So if you think I am, we should have a conversation. Let's just figure it out. But if you hear me and you know that this is real and you're out there to go make things happen, I got your back. If you let me help you, I will help you. And I'm doing that right now. I'm attempting to do that as best I can with a little bit of time we have here. But just know there's not many people out there, probably on the people that I can think of that I know on a personal basis that I can say, I recommend you listen to these people that actually have real life experience that are willing to coach and help you in a way that I know I can is probably a handful, literally a handful that I can call in the industry that I know of that will get on a phone call, get on a Zoom, get on a meeting with you and solve the problem together. Not just say, go watch this thing, go listen to this thing, go hear that podcast, all that stuff. No. This is different. Okay. Establish a process, everybody, for quality control. This is an easy one, weekly photos, quality inspection, site visits. You could just have a cadence to that religiously, boom, every week, every whatever, every milestone before a payment's made. You want to know a way to solve this easily? Use a private money lender, hard money lending company. They have to do an inspection to go check that the work was completed. So if you want someone to help you do that and you pay a couple $100 because they give you all the money actually anyways to do the work, basically to do the construction, they're giving you a budget and they're giving you the construction escrow. All you have to do is basically be okay paying them a couple $100 every time they go do a walkthrough, which is like a quality inspection. And you could be sitting in wherever you're sitting and you could have your property have a walkthrough and basically know that that's work's either done and the contractor is tied to the completion of the work. The payment is tied to the completion of the work. So if the work's not done correctly, the lender's not going to release the funds, and check it out. Therefore, you're not going to release the funds. So another very simple solution, if you don't have a lot of experience, is get a lender that has the ability for a governance process to exist. And we can help you with that through Real Direct Lending. We have multiple groups that we work with that we can bring to the table on your deals that we collaborate with. Commercial lending that is for real estate investors. So realdirectlending.com can help you with that. Analyze the progress along the way and hold the contractors accountable. So like I said before, don't let them push you around. Don't let them give you lip service. Don't let them do anything that's not going to be in your best interest. And if you don't know how to do that, again, just raise your hand, will help. Use project management software and systems to keep everything on track. It's simple. Like there's stuff out there, like Asana, for example, ASANA is a great tool I find to be easy to use. It's free to list out a bunch of stuff on tasks and to say, here's the steps to follow. Let's go do the steps, right? There's other softwares out there, but that's the most simple one. Even a spreadsheet is probably fine for you to get started. All right. I know we're over time, so let's just kind of roll through this, see what else we got. If I can. Okay. How to find quality contractors. I'm going to read this out for you guys. You're going to have to do this on your own, but this is not the main purpose of today. Referrals are best. Facebook groups, fellow investors, meetings like this. Early mornings at Home Depot, Lowe's, supply houses, Home Advisor, and Angie's List. Be careful with those, by the way. I haven't had that much experience, good experience with Angie's List lately. Saying, construction, project management companies. So again, people like us that have experience, have referrals. If you're struggling to keep it on budget and on time and on budget, hire a general contractor or a project manager versus trying to manage it all yourself with the various trades. Quality and speed is usually even more important than pricing. If you get something done faster at the right quality, it's going to be better to get that way versus having to pay less. There's a saying someone told me a long time ago. He said, cheap is expensive and expensive is cheap. Sounds weird, but it basically means when you're getting a cheap quote, it's going to be expensive in the long run usually. So just pay a little bit more, be a little bit more on the expensive side of things. And it's like peace of mind. It's like an insurance policy with contractors. Usually when you pay more, you're expecting a higher quality. Now, if someone's going to price gouge you, like the person that gave me a quote for 10 times what the other guy did for the same basic vanilla service, then that's a different story. That's just bad business, but that's not what I'm talking about. Okay. Establish clear expectations up front, hold contractors accountable. We talked about that before. All right. Sounds easy, not necessarily, obviously. So if you're just starting out or short on time, we're ready to help you. So we could do these things with you. And we do this with our clients now as part of our growth collective. Essentially, when you buy a deal through our process, we have a service which is coaching you and supporting you and managing, helping run these projects indirectly or potentially directly, depending on what you need. Streamline your renovation process so you can focus on growing the business. Do more deals and enjoy fewer headaches. That sounds like a good one. Get better contractors that understand the importance of speed, quality, and budget. Prepare yourself to scale on multiple projects at a time. I told you before, I'm living proof that it's possible. It's not just a theory. You could do this, right? You could run many projects at a time. It's not perfect, but you could do it, right? And then you learn by doing. Augment your team by leveraging somebody like us without taking on a partner, but just having a project management process or having a coach in your corner. Do bigger projects with an experienced group. So I've had many projects where I've jumped in, like I talked about last week, a hybrid wholesale, where my experienced partner was actually someone that's got way more experience in a particular kind of thing that I don't have any experience on. And I just got that experience by being around it. And in last week's conversation, we talked about how to profit with that party on the front end, but also still participate and get the experience and money and profit on the back end. And then build your construction management fees if there are any. That's a whole nother topic. There's a thing called construction management, which basically says, I'm going to look at all these projects or this project and not just manage the trades, but actually manage the manager, right? Manage the individual who's the project manager or manage the general contractor, depending on how you set up. And the construction manager has got a lot of experience. So there's multiple parties in my life that can do construction management for clients. And so if you need help with that, just send me a direct message. Say, I need help with construction management. I don't know how to simplify. Just say, hey, I'd like to look at your construction management stuff, and if I can use that on my projects. That's really for the investor who's already doing deals. It's not really for the newbie or newer investor. The newer investor, the best thing to do is find either a partner or find a coach like us that can help you in the process, so you learn it by doing it. Once you actually have some experience and you're kind of consumed with projects, you might want to consider getting a construction manager involved in your business. Okay. Negotiate everything, not just price, timeline, payment schedule. Just that's pretty self-explanatory. Leverage the right capital sources to have less of your own money tied up. So yeah, we can talk about that. RealDirectLending.com has multiple capital sources, multiple funding affiliates that are commercial lenders that provide 100% of the renovation for your projects that make financial sense. Okay. And develop a repeatable process that can be used on all of your projects. Very simply said. This one here, you guys can call us, but really, honestly, it's crazy, but we're moving away from like people call me at this number. It's like, hey, shoot me a DM, send me an email. Like it's a lot of Facebook, social media stuff. So you could call this number if you'd like. It's probably gonna be someone in my office that answers. That's fine. You could also email this email. That's fine. But you could just DM me and I'll pass you to the right team member that can talk to you further about that. And then you can kind of go from there. Our team is ready to offer you, this is from a previous presentation, as you can see, resources and experience to manage your next renovation project from pre-purchase, which we're doing right now with our Growth Collective clients, by the way. This is already embedded in your engagements, basically. Pre-purchase to completion of renovations, so you could focus on just growing the business and sourcing more properties and buying more stuff that's profitable. Construction management fees can be built in. So our lenders that we work with will allow there to be a line that says construction management, which is for a group like us to help manage the construction on those projects. So just a heads up on that. And we're also open to joint ventures and partnerships, if you don't know by now. So last thing is, if you want to learn how to do this yourself, right, we have a solution for you. Right. So now, again, this is I'm just going to call it what it is. I feel like I just got to be direct and candid, and I'm just going to just be real, as I always am, but even more so today. People are probably like, oh yeah, here it is. Like the content was there and here's the pitch. He's going to try to sell me something. I better get going. Like if that's you, listen, I get it. I'm not trying to pitch you anything. This is just real life stuff. Like, yeah, our experience is worth a lot. Millions of dollars of deals is worth a lot, if you ask me. And the fact that we're willing to help and not just going to do our own stuff is also says a little bit about our character and our heart. So if that doesn't mean anything to you, then you know what? No big deal. You can just step out, no big deal. But if you actually know that we have the right concern, you want help doing this, you want to do it yourself and learn it, you got to think about it. Our coaching group, it's called the Growth Collective, is appropriate and possibly a fit if you're willing to put in the time and effort to learn and take action. You have to be willing to do that. You have to be coachable and willing to step out of your comfort zone. Any of my clients can tell you that for sure. We push you to your limits and beyond. That's the whole concept of growth, by the way. You're committed to success no matter what it takes, like literally relentless, like perseverant. Like I said before, it's going to take whatever it takes. Obviously, we're not talking about like whatever, like you gotta have boundaries, but generally speaking with business, you know what I'm talking about. And you understand the value of our vast experience, including our successes and our failures. Like it's not just about, hey, we're winning. You got to win too. No, it's, hey, listen, we failed here. Here's what you can learn from that failure. Let us be the ones that took the loss on that scenario that you could then benefit from and gain. Okay. You want to accelerate your earning curve and start profiting faster and more confidently, because check it out. Your learning curve is to just learn. But then once you learn, are you going to earn? Well, not necessarily. If you want to start earning before you have to start learning, then maybe consider learning faster, right? Like earning as in getting to action mode. And if you're willing to invest in yourself and your business to maximize your possibility of success, this might be a good fit. If you're willing to be vulnerable, again, my clients, I got to give you guys a shout out. Everybody who's in our group right now is very vulnerable. I can say that without a shadow of my doubt. It's like awesome because that allows transparency and growth and collaboration. And you want to be able to share the good, the bad, and the ugly. If this isn't you, then you're probably not a good fit. I hate to say it, but you just aren't, because we can't have people kind of hold on to things that are on their minds, on their hearts that are causing issues and not be willing to share it and be vulnerable about it, because that's going to hold you back. And the whole purpose is to grow. So if you're serious about growing an income and or a business as a real estate investor, like an income is different, obviously, than a business. A business has a lot of responsibility, a lot of complexity relative to it as an income. But if it's one or both of those things, then you might be a good fit. And if you can commit to a weekly meeting, in this case, we have multiple meetings available to you, right? At the time that we created this presentation some time ago, there was only like 1 or 2 a week. I think right now we have between 5 to 7 a week available, which are not like have to attend, must attend type of thing. It's pretty much office hours available to you almost every day of the week, soon to be probably every Monday through Friday, essentially. And then not including the one-on-one support that we provide in our multiple ways we do that, whether it be a phone call, a Zoom meeting, or an actual Slack instant message discussion, audio and text, and everything like that. And if you're willing to take the risks necessary to reap the rewards of your risk taking, I just thought about this yesterday in our hot seat discussion. There's a relationship between risk and reward. It's pretty obvious. You guys should know that by now. If you're listening to this message, wherever you're sitting, if you don't understand the risk profile of a particular opportunity in a deal, then how could you ever say that this is going to be a reward at the end of it? You have to understand, you hear me say this, where's the risk? If there's no risk, then it's hard to figure out where the reward is. Like there probably isn't as much a reward. So what is the risk? Okay. If a property is occupied today with somebody who's not paying their rent, that's risk. But you know what? That could also yield a massive reward if you're willing to get that individual or individuals out of the property the way you need to legally and take on a little bit of time, maybe some money, and then reap the benefits of that investment to get the reward at the end of all that. If you have a dilapidated property that has a lot of construction risk, well, there's the example right there. I'm going to renovate this thing, get it to be worth more, and that's the reward I get for selling it for a profit. If you have a problematic scenario with the property, whatever that case is, there is tenants that are paying, but they're not paying every month, or they're creating problems, they're not paying market rent, whatever that is. Like there's all these different scenarios that are risks. And the question is, what's the relationship in this deal between risks and rewards? All right. So take the next step. I'm going to pause on this before we go here. I'm going to see, now let's say this way. I'm going to let you guys read what's on the screen. I'm going to say it another way, that you guys can ask your questions in Facebook. You can ask your questions in the chat. Realistically though, because of the time that we don't have, what I'd like to do is I'd like anybody who's seen this video, I'm going to make an invite on my own without anybody else, preparing for this, to anybody that wants to join us in our next session on Tuesday. Next Tuesday after the holiday weekend, we were scheduled to have a meeting at 4 p.m. If you have questions that you need to get answered, and if they have to answer today, then just shoot me a DM. I need to answer like right now so I can make a decision. But if it can wait till Tuesday, anybody who hears this message, Tuesday at 4 p.m., we have our next scheduled group session for our private coaching and mastermind group called the Growth Collective. You can see some stuff up here about how that kind of works in general. But the fact is, some of these things, it's old stuff, right? Because Flip More Deals was what we started with. That was flipping contracts, flipping properties. We do that. We also have other things that we do now. So if you go to jointhegrowthcollective.com. So if I can just kind of stop screen share here. If you guys want to get that invite, okay. And you go to jointhegrowthcollective.com. Jointhegrowthcollective.com. Can you guys hear me okay? See me still? And it looks like I see Joe's thing. For some reason, it's lit up. I don't know why your thing is lit up there, Joe. Is your audio okay? All right. I'm going to assume everything's good. You guys are probably, maybe he's on another call because it is overtime. So jointhegrowthcollective.com. I put into the Facebook for you guys. Again, my team, I mean, they pull an audible here, but I just want to get people to that site so they know how we can help serve them. Jointhegrowthcollective.com. That's going to have a video where you'll see me sitting in a similar place in this office here and sharing a couple of examples and scenarios that are happening right now and why this might be a decision for you to consider applying to be a part of the group and how it can serve you and how we can bring value to you and your business and how you could bring value to others in the group, because it is a mastermind group at this point. It's not just you getting coached and getting the answers and getting questions. If you're looking to collaborate, if you're looking to do deals with people collaboratively, like there's at least 4 or 5 joint ventures that I know about right now happening in the Growth Collective, just within itself, like within the sphere of the Growth Collective across our client base. And that's just what I know about. Now, there's probably other ones that have happened or happening. These are deals that are closing. like as of now, like in this, it's May 26th of 2023. And so obviously, if we could attract more of the right people that come into the group and want to join us in the group, naturally, you're going to bring value. We're going to bring value to you. It's a mutual trade of value, and more deals like that will happen. More collaboration is inevitable. So if you didn't check out last week's conversation, I'd encourage you to go back and listen to the hybrid wholesale, because some of you here might say, well, Doug, this sounds great, but I have no money. I don't know how to find deals. I don't know about construction. Like, what value can I possibly bring? Trust me on this. Go watch last week's for an hour, listen to it on audio in your headphones, whatever you got to do. The hybrid wholesale is part of the answer for sure. And if you don't know and you don't have the time to do that, I don't know what to tell you. You got to take an hour of your life at some point in the next few days and do that. And then if you go to the site, you go to the jointhegrowthcollective.com site, you'll see the video for 4 or 5 minutes. You'll hear me talking about how it kind of works. And then you go beneath that. Okay. So I'm just going to show you guys. That way I might as well screen share it. Why not? Let me get this open on the screen. If you guys are hanging out, it's after hours right now. It's like 2:20, right? It's 20 minutes late. So I appreciate you being here, and we're going to wrap this up. So let's see. It's going to look something like this. Let me get my screen to work. Okay. Close your next deal in 90 days or less, guaranteed. Okay. There's a little bit to that. It's like, how is that possible? Well, I'll give you the short version is that if you don't do that and you join the program, we're going to continue to work with you for free until you get there. So if you're wondering, like, what happens after 90 days and I don't close my next deal, because that could happen, but it's unlikely to happen. It just could happen, especially now it's not likely to happen. We will help you and support you through the whole process. Now, this here is a scheduler, right? Now, when you go here, you're going to see this. You're going to click on a time. We got to check to make sure Monday, I don't know, team, we got to make sure Monday, if there's going to be calls or not. Let's say Tuesday, because I think Tuesday is more realistic. Tuesday at 9:30, you're going to answer some questions. Name, email, phone, experience. Tell us if you've done 0 to 1 deals, so on and so forth, current monthly income, desired monthly income. Do you believe in what do you believe you need the most help with? Deal analysis, sourcing the deals, funding, marketing, maybe some other stuff. We could probably put other, but that's that. Are you willing to commit some capital, $500 a month to do this? You got some questions there, answers, I should say. Maybe, yes, no, whatever. Absolutely. And how much time do you have to commit? It's right there. So if you do not have the capital, are you willing to take on a third-party funding solution to help you get the capital you need to build your business? We have that contact. And if you want to see, there's people, lots of people, lots of testimonials. These are just a few actually, because there's more that are not posted yet. There's about 6 other ones I think that are going up on the site just in the past couple of months. So that's what you'll see. I'm not going to play the video now because this is not what it's for. This is for you guys to do. So we can hang up on this Zoom call, on this meeting. And if you want to take action now, you just go onto the site, watch the video, schedule a call, and then we'll talk. Or you'll talk to Joe, or you talk to someone else in my office, and we'll go from there. And if you don't, no sweat. You know what I mean? No big deal, but we appreciate you being here, listening to this. We appreciate your involvement. We appreciate your questions, your interaction. Again, if you want to get your questions answered and you're not part of the Growth Collective, I'm going to invite you as our guest on Tuesday. The only thing you need to do to get that guest pass, okay, is go to jointhegrowthcollective.com, watch the 4.5 minute long video, and pick a time, hopefully on Tuesday, but if it has to be after Tuesday, with my team. And that will let us know that you want a guest pass. Because anybody who has an appointment with us will get a guest pass. And if you're listening to this message and you're like, well, wait a second, I just had an appointment and I didn't get that guest pass. Like, how could I get that? Just hit me up with a DM. No big deal. It's just another thing we want to add value to get you into the room with us and ask your questions. So on that note, I appreciate you guys. I thank you for being here. I have nothing but love and I want to see you guys win. Like I said, God bless you all. Enjoy your weekend with family and friends. I know we're having a lot of fun stuff planned for this weekend. So be safe out there. It gets a little crazy sometimes this holiday weekend, especially in Florida, to say. And so enjoy yourselves and take care of yourselves and go make some deals happen. We'll talk to you next week. Hopefully we'll see you on Tuesday. Have a great day, everybody. God bless.